This is Larry Casilla, one of the best detailers in the country. To see his episode featuring the same McLaren, visit Ammo NYC on YouTube. But right now, we're going to take a closer look at this McLaren 570s Spyder. Is it worth the price? And how does it compare versus others in this class? We have all the details on this episode of Driving Sports TV.
Great to see you.
Yes. It was a fun drive for sure.
Yeah? How's your back?
My back's a little stiff. I'm a tall guy to get in there, but it's it was worth it. It's a McLaren.
It's too bad I'm going to mess it up. Anyway, you got an Uber waiting over there for you, so I will see you in 6 hours.
All right, thanks.
This is the McLaren 570s Spyder. Introduced in 2018, it's a retractable hardtop sports car loaded with Formula One technology. This model starts at $208,800. The one we have here has a bunch of extra features that pushes the price to $225,900 including destination and delivery. The key component of any McLaren is the structure under the skin. This one uses the Monocell 2 chassis with a rear extruded aluminum subframe, the same structure you would find in the higher-end P1. That makes for a car that is remarkably light while still retaining rigidity. Whereas most convertibles need to add weight to improve the strength of the chassis, the McLaren can remove the top without having to add a single piece of reinforcement. Up front, you won't find a power plant. Instead, there's a small cubby just large enough to carry a couple pieces of luggage. The engine is mounted midship. It's a twin turbocharged 32-valve 3.8-liter aluminum V8 with dry sump lubrication, and it powers the rear wheels. Claimed peak horsepower, 562. Redline and ear-ringing 8,200 RPM. Maximum torque, 443 pound-feet at 5,000 RPM. Top speed, 204 miles per hour with the top up. EPA rates economy at 23 miles to the gallon highway and 16 in the city, which is actually slightly lower than a Porsche 911 Turbo S. Brake discs are carbon ceramic with 6-piston calipers up front for solid track day stoppage. They're surrounded by 10-spoke 19-inch alloy wheels wrapped in Pirelli P0 Corsa high-performance rubber. Both the adaptive suspension and the 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox feature 3-way driver selectable adjustments: normal, sport, and track, which we will try out later. Fire it up to hear the unique tone of the McLaren Titanium Sport exhaust system. That is a $5,760 option. The steering is an electro-hydraulic unit with a variable rack to make tooling around parking lots easier without compromising high-speed stability. It might be a junior supercar, but it's still loaded with some surprising modern conveniences. Parking sensors both front and back, a hill holder, and the ability to lift the nose up for improved clearance of steep driveways and rough roads. It has a small tablet-like navigation system. Unfortunately, it's not exactly intuitive and it is rather sluggish. Our car also came with the optional Bowers & Wilkins 12-speaker system. The steering wheel is amazing. It is completely free of unnecessary buttons, and it is molded out of carbon fiber wrapped in leather. Switch into reverse for a rear-view camera integrated into the gauge cluster, which can be hard to see through the wheel. In many ways, I wish it was down in the infotainment system. Hit the active button to engage the drive modes. Track engages a more purposeful digital display. These can be adjusted with dials to select normal, sport, or track for both the transmission and the suspension. Popping the top off is a quick process, while stopped or while driving at low speeds. There is no need to stow any extra pieces. It all folds away automatically and seamlessly. Unfortunately, it is almost impossible to talk on camera with the wind, so for the sake of the rest of this review, I will put the top up.
There we go. That transmission shifts very quickly. And even on this, it's not a very smooth surface of a road. It's doing really good. I am bumping the underside a little bit when going high speeds over these ridges, but it's nothing too substantial. And the on-center feel is just spectacular. You really know what this car is doing. And you feel like at even 100 miles per hour, this car is simply loafing along. Supercars, they're not just cars, and they're not just science and math. They're a little bit art and a lot of black magic. So when you have a car like this, which is just so good and so fun in so many different ways, you really, it's a new level of driving enjoyment, especially for the money. I mean, you don't have to drop $500,000 on a McLaren. You don't. Of course you could. That'd be okay. Let's try a 0 to 60 right here, shall we? As you notice, there's poles on each side, so if I screw this up, I'm dead. If I don't die from the impact, then McLaren will kill me, certainly. So I'm gonna put my foot on the brake, throw on the gas, and away we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And away we go. Oh my God. So the official 0 to 60 is 3 seconds. I can believe it. And that was not even with launch control. I mean, it's like, bam. Well, you know, one thing that is really surprising to me is how approachable this car is to drive. It's not insane. I mean, it doesn't have to be insane. If you put it back into, you know, normal mode in the powertrain and handling, and you just, you know, kind of feather the throttle, it's fine. I mean, it's a 7-speed automatic. It'll even shift itself for you, you know? However, if you want to go insane, just go ahead and put it all the way over into track, smash the throttle. Whoa! Dude, track mode, that shift hits hard. Whoa! Oh, dude, this is good. This is really good.
Where Sport Mode focuses on minimizing body roll and giving quick shifts, which does make for a very fun experience, Track Mode feels like the most natural setting for this 570S Spyder. Hard shifts, miles of grip, and a firm but communicative suspension setup really gives you the full meal deal supercar experience for almost half the price of a loaded 720S Spyder. Unless I was carrying eggs to market, I would drive this in track mode all the time, everywhere I went.
As you can probably expect, a car built in a shed in England isn't absolutely perfect. Seats could be a little bit more comfortable. I don't mind them. Larry from Ammo, he's taller than me. He doesn't like the stiffness. That's okay. Everybody has different ideas on seats. There's weird wind noise whistles coming from corners. That is something that would be nice to be fixed. And I get a lot of creaking back here, especially when we go over uneven roads. I assume that's just a symptom of a carbon fiber super stiff chassis. It's just, you know, it's just gonna happen. But, you know, you put the throttle down, you forget all those problems. Very small, very small. Just that engine. Let's listen to that again, shall we? Oh, dude, and the on-center feel at over 100? It's a walk in the park. The only reason you know you're going fast, I mean, other than the world's, you know, slipping by you at insane speeds, is the increase in the sounds of the whistling in the front of the car. I don't know, those whistles might drive me crazy after a while. Right now it's charming. I'm not sure if that charming will wear off or not. It might. And I think actually one of the best things about this car isn't the fact that, you know, McLaren has super expensive, like the Senna and the P1 and those things. Those cars are fine. They're a little too insane. This car, it's approachable. I'm not saying I would ever buy, you know, a near $300,000 car, but it sure sounds a lot more affordable than a $2 million car. And I'm not sure if the $2 million car as a daily driver would feel that much more special than this car. I've never driven a Senna, so I'm not real sure about that, but put me in a Senna, then I'll tell you. Of course, a car like the Senna, you have to drive it on a racetrack. A car like this may never see track time, so just driving it out here in the Hamptons, that's kind of its natural setting, you know? This is the approachable. This is the everyman McLaren, if every man made millions of dollars every year. Okay, so that kind of falls apart. I understand that. Fine. You know, at first I was a little scared of track mode, but right now, I'm not. I'm loving it. Track mode? It's okay. You know, some of these supercars, you put them into track mode and they are rip your face off. I mean, they are dangerous. I wouldn't say so with this one. I mean, yeah, you have reduced traction control, you have maximum power, you have insane speed, you got all those things, but you also have great handling, and you have the damping on this is just phenomenal. And then the aero, you can feel it sucking you down to the road. I mean, it is next level black magic witchcraft in a car. Yeah! Man, I love this shifter. It's kind of cool. When I pull plus, I can feel minus go back. It's like a big rocker, the whole unit, which is really cool. It's just unique. I mean, everything about this car is unique. It's not, you know, if you get a Porsche, you can buy cheap Porsches. You can't get a cheap McLaren. No such thing. And honestly, going anywhere with this thing, yeah, rock star status instantaneously.
Let's take a moment to take a closer look at some competitors in this space. First, the Acura NSX. I did drive it in Los Angeles earlier this year. As a hybrid supercar, it really does check a lot of boxes for me. It's easy to drive when you want to just go out and get some butter, but really ready to whip through the canyons when you're in the mood. However, for as practical as it is, the lack of a front nose lift system really makes it more difficult to navigate city streets when compared to the 570s, which does have that nose lift system. Then there's the R8. I'm a big fan of this one. It was my first supercar experience when I first drove the V8 version back in 2009. For about the same price as the McLaren, the Audi R8 V10 gives you a lot of the same features, plus 2 extra cylinders and all-wheel drive. It represents a great balance between everyday driving and supercar excitement. Plus, it doesn't hurt that it actually has an excellent infotainment system. Then there's the Porsche 911 Turbo S. It is slightly cheaper, starting at $190,000. And it gets you something you cannot find in anything from McLaren: room for 2 kids in the back seats. The wild card is, of course, the upcoming mid-engine C8 Corvette. That will definitely shake things up in this space, but it's not quite here yet, so we'll leave it out for now. Here's the thing. To non-car enthusiasts, many cars simply look the same. It's unfortunate but true. Whether you're driving a $200,000 or a $50,000 Porsche, many folks can't tell the difference. Audi, well, they also make the A3. Acura's NSX, most people don't even know that Acura even makes a supercar. The McLaren, it's an attention magnet with a name that is recognized. Even though it is the same price as several great options, none of them will get you as much attention as the 570s while driving down the street. If that is what you want, the McLaren is a clear winner in terms of style. Which one of these would you choose? Post a comment below. As for me, I think I would take...
I really like the Audi. I really like the Audi. But there's something just a little more special about the McLaren. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Please subscribe, share this video, tell us if you like it, if you don't like it. We learn from your comments and we try to improve every single video. Again, I'll see you next time right here.